يا ذاكر الأصحاب كن متأدبا واعرف عظيم منازل الأصحاب. هم صفوة رفعوا بصحبة أحمد وبذاك قد خصوا من الوهاب. يا ذاكر الأصحاب كن متأدبا.
Coming to the gates of North America when Hitler was putting them in the ovens, America wouldn't let the Jewish people in. Do you know that? There was a time they couldn't get in. They put them in ghettos. They was not always in politics, nor in medicine. They were discriminated against, but they were people of culture, and they know the value of knowledge, and they understand the power of unity. If you find a Jew in any country of the world, you say to him, what are you? The first thing he will tell you, I'm Jewish. He says, I'm Jewish. And that's wonderful. That's what he believes. That's what he represents. But you won't find him denying his people. You won't find him denying, and he won't be confused, because they learned early. So now, the same, I recommend to you a great book. I told you one was Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington. There's another great book. I want you to get these books from Barnes & Nobles by Howard Zinn. It's called A People's History of the United States of America. He starts from the very beginning of America's history from the eyes of the victims, not the eyes of the rulers and the oppressors of indigenous people and people of color and the poor and the corporations. He looks from the eyes of the people. And this is what young people need. Why? Because young people need heroes that stand for truth. They need heroes that are more concerned not with making a profit, but the well-being of the people. We need businesses in our community not only to service the Muslims, but service the whole community. You know, one time I said to a brother, put a chicken store here. Just sell chicken. Call it Bobby's Chicken. No, brother, if it's halal, you have to put Arabic on the sign, everything. Why, brother? Chicken speak Arabic? Have you ever met a chicken that spoke Arabic to you? No, we have these crazy ideas, man. It bugs me out sometimes. It does. It bugs me out. And if it's bugging me out, and I'm 47, can you imagine what it does to the children? I was with a sister who finished law school, and she was telling me something, and I said, well, what do you mean by that? She said, well, brother, when children die, they're in heaven with Jesus in the daycare center reading books. I was like, wow. I said, sister, you believe that? You done finished law school. She was like, yes, my grandmother told it. So I told her, you know what? Call your grandmother right now. Call your grandmother. Her grandmother told her she was little. That's what she said. I called her grandmother. Her grandmother said, well, I'm much older now. I'm not really sure, but it could be Jesus and all the other prophets. Really? And you know what she told me? She said, Brother Abdul Malik, no matter what you say, I'm not going to stop believing that because it makes people feel good. I said, that's the problem with superstition. It always makes you feel good, but you lose everything in the process. Why would Jesus be in heaven reading books to children? Why? To kill time? I mean, paradise is not enough? He's got a Barney script? No, these are insulting things they say about the Messiah. So we as young people and older people must understand we must inspire our children with facts on the ground. Truth. So I know my time is up, but if I never see you again, go find the best books in America's library, written by the brightest people, and capture that wisdom because it's yours. In Washington, D.C., in the Library of Congress, they have books under lock and key. You can't even get the book without identification. They got one of the oldest Qur'ans in Washington on Capitol Hill in the Library of Congress that was written more than 1,000 years ago. I've seen the Qur'an there, and I've seen with my own eyes. I was like, wow. They got treasures from all over Africa. Everything. The foundation of this civilization is the greatness of the African people. And I'm not saying that to be racist, just facts. Just facts. These are facts of life. But if you don't know your history and know who you are, how can you plan your future? So if I never ever see you again, I beg you, I'm saying now to the elders, number one, create quickly a scholarship program for the young people to go to college. Number two, make sure we are balanced in our approach, that we educate our young men and our young women equally. We must. Education is imperative. If we don't like the things that we see, we don't change them with violence or isolation. We change them by engaging in a very positive way. Next, I say for the young people, I don't know if you have a basketball court here, you have like facilities on the premises for youth, but you don't go out in the community, find a school building that has a gym and a swimming pool and all these facilities and divide the time for boys and and girls and soccer. Do all those things. Give our children a place to have fun and to enjoy themselves. Let Islam be for them an experience that is reflective of the greatness of life. It does not have to be rigid. When I first became Muslim, you know what I had to do in the mosque? I used to sit on security at 15 years old just for maybe like 10 hours, just sitting there. And one brother told me, you don't have to go to school. It's not important, brother. And I believed him. I dropped out. I just want to be a good Muslim. That's what he said. He must know he's a Muslim before me, right? Just drop out of school. That's what I did. I dropped out. Hey, I just dropped out. He told me drop out, drop out. He said, brother, come here. You put this on. I put my Pakistani thobe on, my Pakistani shirt, my Sudanese turban. I went to Mecca, and when I got to Mecca, they said, brother, no offense, come here. Where are you from? I said, I'm from America. They said, brother, you look confused. You got a little bit of Pakistan, a little bit of Bangladesh, a little bit of Sudan. No one knows where you're from. And brothers and sisters, for the first time I discovered something about clothing. Clothing is a cultural expression. It does have Islamic requirements in terms of dress code. But in America, why can't we design our own Islamic dress code? Why can't we design our own style? And then when we go to Mecca, they say, you know what? That's the Muslims from American Somalis. That's them right there. We quickly imitate others. Even when it comes to the knowledge base, you're really not going to like me, some of you. When it comes to knowledge, we get it from one source. We call the Khalij, that's it. This sheikh said this. We don't call Malaysia. We don't call Indonesia. We don't call Chad. We don't call Niger. We get fatwas only from the Gulf state. We have books only from the Gulf state. And if you study history, the reason for that is they have enough money to put out the doctrine and to spread it all over the world. So if you don't say what they say, you're not a good Muslim. If you don't dress like they dress, you're not a good Muslim. And I've been through that. And, many years have been lost. But if you study the life of Muhammad and understand him and his environment and the people that he reached and the way they transformed the world, you understand that as a Muslim, you are entitled to your own identity so long as what you do does not violate the codes of Islam. But brothers and sisters, let me tell you something right now. You can help. How many of you from Somalia? Raise your hand. Born and raised in Somalia. Raise your hand. Not many? How many were born here? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, let me just say this to you, and I promise it's the last thing I'm going to say to you. You could help Somalia become a very stable and secure country if you create a strong power base in America. You could make Somalia one of the most beautiful countries in the world, because it is one of the most beautiful countries. There's just so much infighting that others are instigating and making money off of, because they need to go through the Somalian waterfronts with all those ships. And that's billions of dollars that they don't want to give to the Somalian people. But you can't come with no ships through America and not pay a price. You got to check in. They have to know what's on the ship, and you got to pay. Through the Suez Canal in Egypt, the Suez Canal, 40,000 ships go through there every year. You know how much money that is? I want you to think of it. 40,000 vessels carrying the goods that are in demand all over the world. And Egypt is poor. Why? Just the port would make them rich. The port would make Egypt stable. Just tax the port. But the Muslims today, we're too weak to even tax the people coming to our own land, because we have not developed the minds. And if we fail to get educated, we're just going to be another generation lost. So my prayer and my hope for the young people that are here is that tonight you'll go home and put some of your games away. At least do it for 7 days and pick up great books. Read a small section of the Quran and think about what Allah says. When Allah says read, why didn't he say in the beginning pray or fast? Why did he say the first commandment to Muhammad, read, knowing he himself could not read? Because the value of knowledge is priceless. And someone said it from over here. They said, brother, we don't do the things you're saying because we don't know. Well, let me tell you, at 47, it took me 25 years to even think like I'm thinking, because I realized how much time we lost bickering and arguing over religious doctrine that most of us never really understood. So my first request to you is, I want to see you get some books. You don't have to read the whole entire Quran in one night. Just choose a chapter and reflect on what Allah says. Then pick up the Prophet Muhammad's seerah. A small part of it. Reflect and ask questions. The life of Sahaba, ask questions. And then ask yourself, if America today has become one of the greatest empires in the history of mankind in a short span of time, how did they do it? And why is it that they can call any place around the world? If I get out of here tonight safely and get on the plane by Sunday and I fly into Saudi Arabia, right? Because I think, okay, it's better to live in Mecca, America, put me in jail, lock me up for nothing, because I'm not bothering nobody. I can land in Mecca right now, and America makes one call, FBI. Hello? Is this Saudi Arabia? Okay, 1 second. Yeah, this is Mr. Bob Harris. Yes? Yes, from the Department of State Department. Yes, Mr. Abdul Malik will be landing in Jeddah in about an hour. Do us a favor. Handcuff them, put them on the next plane back. Guess what they're going to do in Jeddah? Ta'al ya Abid. Ta'al. What's good? Go. I go all the way to Mecca to be safe, and what does the Meccan do? They turn me over. So guess what I decided? No need to ever run. Because if Allah won't protect you, there's no protection. And we can't live in fear. So do your best. Enjoy life. I'm so grateful that you came out. I have some CDs that I want the young people to get. I don't have a lot of the same lectures, but I want you to get that 21st century Muslim, searching for identity, women in Islam, and some others are out there. I want you to listen. And if anything I say you don't like, just give the CD to somebody else. Just give it away. Say, I don't want to care what Abdul Malik says. Here, take this out of here. It's fine. If it's something you like and it inspires you to do something great, just make dua for me that Allah will bless me and pass it on. Because you know what inspired me to fight for the Muslim community and to struggle to help the Muslims? I heard the tape of a man in Mecca, and tears rolled down my eyes. And I said, if I had the courage of this man, I would try to help Islam in America. So thank you for listening. I know I've went over my time. May Allah bless you, inshallah. Huh? Yeah, if you have some questions, no arguments though. If you want to argue, I'm not going to answer you. I'm not here to debate with you. But if you have a question, alhamdulillah, we answer any questions and we'll try to be brief with the answers, inshallah. Okay.
This is from one of the sisters. If anybody is willing to ask the Shaykh questions, he'll be here with us for a while longer, inshallah. One of the questions from the sisters is, can we talk about cell phones and how too much of it affects the youth of this generation? And she's also a mother of 3, it says here.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I think as parents we have made a tremendous mistake by giving all of our children cell phones. Like every kid in the family now has a phone. When I grew up, if you had trouble in school, they just called the house. That was enough to pick you up and take you home or whatever what the problem is. I think the problem is not the phone, it's how it's being used. The technology is never the problem, it's the abuse. So I think as parents, and the young people may not like me saying this, as parents, you shouldn't be having all your kids with phones. It's that simple. Who are they talking to? What is a kid 10 years old doing with a cell phone all night long? Then you open his door, he's on the internet, playing Pac-Man or some other game. What is he doing with it? Or he's on YouTube, or he's someplace else. So I think what we have to do is, if we've given our children phones, now parents, really listen to me carefully. If you've given your kids phone, do not go home right now and take the phones from the kids, because they will hate me and you too. What I want you to do is, don't give any more phones out. Okay? If there's one for them to go to school with, because they need to call you, because, for safety, okay. But everybody don't need a phone in the family. Okay? And the phone problem is not a problem with the children. Let's be clear. Don't you see the adults? Hey, Bobby, how you doing? Hey, I'm okay. 1 second, brother. We're going to make salah. Brother, we're going to make salah in 2 minutes. Okay, the imam just made the takbir. But I got to tell you something. Yeah, do me a favor. Next week, make sure, yeah, buy that green car. Everybody's running their mouth. Sometimes I sit in the airport, and this probably is not really good. I just sit down and listen. People be on the phone, they tell their whole life story. We got some big mouths. People like to talk and talk and talk, and that's how people get in trouble. That's why the government says, you know what? We don't have to spy, just collect their phone data. That saves them a lot of work. Okay, pull up his records. Okay, we got him right here. So we have to find discipline. The phones are not that important. I was having dinner with some friends and the phone rang and they did like this. I said, brother, cut the phones off now. It's like, okay, brother, man, take it easy. I said, you take it easy. We're having dinner, having friendly conversation, and you worrying about your phone. I said, unless it's an emergency, you're not 911 anyway. Leave the phone alone. So we have to incorporate discipline. 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 We all need it. Me, you, and we have to help each other, inshallah. So I would say to the parents, this is the discussion we should have with the whole entire community about cell phones. I've seen people in Jum'ah, their phone ring, they answer, brother, yeah, I'm in Jum'ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you cooking? Okay, when the khutbah is over. Yeah, I'll be there. Oh, the imam khutbah is so boring, it's putting me to sleep. Like, really? You on the phone in Jum'ah prayer? So it's etiquette we have to learn. Like, I never want to come to this masjid again and see all that food I saw on the floor in that wedding room. That blew my mind. That is totally unacceptable. That's not how we treat the masjid. Not the masjid. Not even, you know what scared me? You guys are not going to like me. I said, if they did this to the masjid, what does their house look like? You know, you'll get a divorce as a man if you have a dirty house. Or vice versa. If a woman is very clean and a man is very, very dirty and leaves dishes in the sink and his socks are on the floor and everything, yo, you'll be like, okay, sometimes, hygiene is so important. You can lose your mind being in filth if you're a clean person. So I'm begging you, I'm begging the masjid administration, implement a policy. If we will not clean up, don't bring food to the masjid. Let them eat in the parking lot. No, I did that in one masjid. I told them in Ramadan, if we see one food plate in the garbage, we will cancel the whole iftar dinner. Why we spent $30,000 in Ramadan to feed the people and $20,000 is in the garbage? No. We just give you a donut, and that's not healthy, but we give you a donut. It's cheaper. But no, if people can't clean up, then don't bring them food to the masjid. It's that simple. Yes, sir.
No question is a bad question, but this question is music really haram? What do you do if you can't stop?
I've seen this question so many times. I'm going to tell you something, and this is one of my biggest concerns. Why do we spend so much time on the issue of music? For example, let me give you an example of what I mean by that. First of all, we have to define what is music. What is music? Because every Muslim country I've been to has music everywhere. Every big wedding I go to, there's some music being played. For Muslims, they say the music that is halal is the duff. They say that's halal music. There's some people, they say ma'azif is the wind and string instrument. Whether it's done with the wind instruments or strings or done electronically, it's haram. There are people who have that position. But brothers and sisters, in all honesty, Muslims are dying all over the world. Why do we have this obsession with debating music when most of us have music in our pocket right now? If I go on your iPads right now and your phones right now, you got music on there. Right now, I know. If I go to most of your homes right now, you got a television on. And every time you watch a show, there's a commercial that has music behind it. When you call to make Hajj, they say, will you please hold? And the airline puts music on. What do you do? I can't listen. No, I think we have to look at the issue. And I've heard scholars say that music in general is haram. And I've heard scholars say it's not haram. I don't want to get into halal and haram because it's not my field. But I will tell you this. Don't make an obsession with the issue of music. Let me tell you one bad thing about music. There is bad music. Where the whole day you walking around talking about, I want to kill him, I want to shoot him, I want to kill him, I'm going to shoot him, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to shoot him. Nigga, 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 nigga. Like, really? I would think that's really haram. I would think that is haram. I mean, what are you saying? What are you saying? Shoot him, kill him, stick one. And people know these songs. I see people walking down the street. They're on the subway. They're in the airport. They're white. They're black. They got their pants down. There's one guy in Florida. He stands at the traffic light every day for about 6 hours. He's rapping. I'm like, I can't believe this. But the culture, that's what they're pushing. But I'm going to do a rap for you. You want me to rap for you? No, I'm going to do a song for you. No, I'm going to do one for you. Now you tell me if it's haram. If it is, you can kick me out. But I want you to listen. It's poetry. It's poetry, right? Check it out. It says, I was on the road and I lost my way. I stepped in the corner because I had to pray. I knew that Allah would never lead me astray. I said, show me the way to succeed. Starting with faith is what I need. Show me the way to succeed. You teach me how to write. You teach me how to read. You purify my soul as I grow old. You turn my evil deeds into the mountain of gold. There are those who deny your existence. I just hope that they don't miss this. Allah is the creator. Allah is the one. He has no partner and he has no son. He's not a statue. He's not a stone. But he's the creator and he's all alone. You see, the road to Mecca, it's the road to the east. Islam is my religion and it stands for peace. So peace to Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He's born in Mecca. He's the prophet of Allah. 570 AD was his birth year when the Holy Quran penetrated his ear. The angel Gabriel was the angel revealed and Muhammad was the prophet that had to conceal. And now that we left the gates of 82, Islam is my religion and it's right for you. You think it's haram? Maybe. I don't know, somebody says haram, brother. But again, we got to change. We got to look at words. You know, you got to look at the word because words are very powerful. Words are powerful. So yeah, if you're listening to these rappers and smoke weed and drink and kill your mother and cut your father up, why do you want to hear that? What attracts you to that kind of nonsense? Because it's the culture. It's what's happening. If you want to be cool, you know, I asked Muslim kids name 5 Sahaba. They couldn't. They were able to name 50 rappers for me. And songs. Like the girls, right? The girls are probably saying, yeah, that's those guys. But if you tell the girls, I got the eye like a tiger, they're like, ooh. Wallahi, I was in the airport in Detroit. A young sister, she had on full hijab. She was walking through the airport, and the song was playing, and she knew every word to the song. That's the power of the culture. We can't live in denial. But I tell young people, don't let music capture you because it's so powerful, it will cause you to waste your time. You listen to it all day, all night, and that's what they want. They want to steal your time. Yes, sir.
This is a pretty good question. What can we do to change the ummah for the better besides getting knowledge? Should we politically seek change?
Politics is of no benefit if you're ignorant. Let me give you an example. Muslims vote for people and don't even know what they can do with the vote. So let's say you vote for the local mayor. You decide you're going to the mayor's office. You want to talk about Palestine. The mayor has no control over what happens in Palestine. His power is limited to the district. And instead of voting for a mayor, why don't we run for the mayor? I mean, I'm not talking about being involved in any political process where you're not in control of your destiny. I don't believe in endorsing any candidate just because they stump to the mosque and say salam alaikum. I don't care about that. If you become a politician, I want to know if your budget has $6 million, how do we tap into that money for the educating of our children and creating institutions that benefit our people? If you're going to have low-income housing, how do we access that kind of housing? If you have jobs that you're creating, how do we get access to those jobs? So it's very important to, before you even give people your vote, you should know what's in it for you. Politics is a game. It's a sport contact. You just don't vote to be voting. That's why they don't take Muslims serious in America, because they vote and have no demands. They have absolutely no demands. And you shouldn't vote for anybody that does not stand up for you and your rights. Don't give them the vote. Right? I'm not saying everybody should vote, but politics rule the day. And everything that happens nationally and internationally is rooted in the political process. But I'm not for voting just to be voting. We need a strategy. We need classes. We need to study. We need to become experts in politics before we just mobilize into voting, because just voting, you get what Mursi got. The Egyptians voted, and once they saw Ikhwan come out, they said, they've been underground for a long time. Now we got them all coming out. What do we do? Wait, give them a year. Let's see what they do. And then the whip came out. So you got to be very smart. I'll tell you a great story to read in the Quran. I tell this to all Muslims who have great dreams. Surah to Yusuf. The first thing his father told him, do not tell your brothers of your vision, for they will plot against you. We tell everybody what we want too fast, and they kill the dream. I'll give you a quick example. This may not happen in the Somalian community, because you brothers and sisters are probably better than we are. But you tell a brother, you know, brother, I want to marry this sister, subhanAllah. I'm going to go ask her father for her hand. He said, brother, let me tell you something, but you can't say nothing. You don't want to marry that sister. man, astaghfirullah, I can tell you some things that will blow your mind, but I'm not going to backbite her. But brother, don't marry that sister. You're like, hey, you know what? Thank you for looking out. You're my brother, man. You don't have to tell me, but I appreciate your advice. You come back the next month and he's married to the sister. Okay, this is the last question. It happens. It happens all the time.
All right, a question that's kind of related to that. How do you give advice to teens that are in haram relationships? What does the deen say about this issue?
Well, with all due respect, you kind of answer the question yourself. In fact, I have a tape out there, a CD. It's called Dating in Islam. Right? First of all, we have to address the issue. What are you looking for? Like I tell sisters all the time. Some sisters, they come to me, they go, brother, Assalamu alaikum, I really like him. I think he's going to help me with my deen, and he'll become Muslim, inshallah. I say, how old are you? I'm just 13. How old is he? 13. You can't even rent an apartment with no job. What are you going to do? But inshallah, we were just thinking we get married. If you could talk to our parents, and that would be really wonderful. And inshallah, he could make cupcakes really good, and I can put the icing on. You know, marriage is preparation, man. Like, marriage is not some, like, you know, you go to Walmart and you pick up, you know, small ingredients. We have a problem. The problem is not that young people like each other. My son, one of my sons, I won't mention his name because he's very shy, he said to me, Abi, why are we in New York? Let's get out of here. I said, well, we're visiting grandma. Why you want to hurry up and leave? He's like, Abi, just get out of here. I don't like New York. So I said, well, where you want to go? We're vacationing. He said, let's go to Orlando. And he's 14. So I said, okay, let's go to Orlando. We go to Orlando, we go to the theme park, we eating. He said, Abi, I'm glad to be here. I was like, why you really wanted to get to Florida? He said, Abi, the women are real pretty here. Now, he's only 14, right? And some of you may be angry, like, astaghfirullah, you're looking at women? I said, alhamdulillah, he's looking at the women and not men. Alhamdulillah, 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 Allahu Akbar. Okay? Now, I got to talk to him as a man being his father. I can't tell him not to look. Like, you know, you better not look at these women. How could you not look at some of them? And even the super religious people, he'd be like, brother, you know, looking at women is haram. You go to their Facebook page, it's haram. They belong to MuslimMarriage.com, Muslim. You got so many Muslim imams on marriage pages, they pop up. People say, yo, that imam from Florida is on. No, no. No, I said, come on, I want to show you. I said, I only want to see it. No, the imam is on here. Imam on Muslim.com, Muslim marriage. For what? See, we're in denial of our human nature. It is natural for young men and women to like each other. We just have to facilitate, like Brother Muhammad today, and I think Sister Sagal, we have to facilitate young people getting married. But as a young man, you should be able to tell your mother, you know, Mom, when I was at the masjid, I don't know, the Sister Aisha, subhanallah. Yeah, the one with the hijab. Yeah, Mom. I mean, I didn't like a lot of hijabi girls, but that one, yeah, Mom, I like her. Like, and you shouldn't get angry like, you know, astaghfirullah, we're not going to the masjid no more because you're starting to do haram things. What's haram by looking? Hi, she's Muslim, I'm Muslim. Daddy, you think we can, well, you got a little year, son, let's get you guys engaged and work on it. We can't play with this because it's very dangerous to live in denial of what is already natural. So I tell you young people, if you're doing something that's haram, if you want to stop, you stop the way you started. It's here. You make up your mind, you know what? This ain't right. I tell all the Muslim girls, and I don't want to be long, but I tell all Muslim girls, right? Don't be naive. Because I believe this, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I believe women love what they hear, men like what they see. If men see a pretty woman like that, they don't have no, man, you don't even know who she is. Then when she turns around, it's actually not a she, it's a he. It's like, oh my God, she had on weaves, makeup, eyeliner. Then you be like, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. It happens. I see people out there, you say, this is what I'm saying is this. So look, I'm going to close out on this point. I want to make a point to you quickly. So, the human being, naturally we're inclined. I tell the sisters, when a brother starts saying, you know, sister, subhanallah, you know, inshallah, I think I'll marry you, but you know, it's going to be a couple of years, but let's talk and text me, and it's all deception. And you know when you know a brother's lying to you, sister, it sounds so good, it's unbelievable. You hang up the phone at night and your heart is beating. Oh my God, Abdullah said he loved me. He could get married. He told you that and 20 other people that. Because he think he's the Muslim player. So he got to line up all his girls. Yeah, Akid, Assalamu alaikum. Man, I got those sisters. He tried to be calling me. Look at the text. It's all a game. And you better be careful with technology. Because everything you text and every picture you send is saved on the World Wide Web. And it can be retrieved easily. Be very careful, young people, what you text out there. What pictures you take. Because it's not gone. You may erase it from your phone, but it can be retrieved. Even from the phone. There are people who are experts. They can go into your phone and get every picture you've ever taken. The delete is a deception. It's not real. You're not deleting nothing from this hardboard. The memory is strong. Okay? So I want to say this to young people. If a brother is serious about a sister and she's serious about the brother, why don't you tell your parents? Because the guy who's playing does not want to talk to your father. He doesn't want to talk to your brother because they're going to know he's playing a game. But we have to teach our daughters not to be naive. And we have to teach our sons not to be naive. But we also have to teach the adults. Because they're Muslim brothers. They be in the club all night and come to the masjid at Fajr talking about, brother, I want to marry this sister. I said, brother, where you met her at? Akhi, you know, Allah forgive me, I was in the club all night. But Akhi, I got to marry her. I performed the wedding by Dhuhr, their divorce. He said, Imam, you got to marry her to me. If you don't do that, Imam, I'm going to do some haram and it's your fault. I said, it's never going to be my fault because these choices are yours. But he wants to convince himself that he has to marry her. And I say, brother, at Dhuhr, you divorced her? You think you can go to Muslims and marry their daughters? You don't even give it a whole day. Fajr Dhuhr, it ain't working. Why? Because that's the American custom now. Nobody gets married. So what I saw here today was so inspirational. When I saw brother Muhammad get married to sister Sigal, I hope I'm saying her name correctly. You guys have a beautiful community. Please don't let nobody spoil it. Stay close, stay strict, guard the masjid, and for the youth that are here, if you have no respect any place, make sure when you come in the masjid, you're on your best behavior. And if you have youth here that misbehave in the masjid, you have to report them immediately to us because one bad apple can spoil everything. If they don't respect the masjid, they don't need to come. If they don't respect the masjid, they don't need to come because one bad boy can cause a lot of damage to the children that are naive and protected. So may Allah forgive me if I said anything that was bad. Hopefully I didn't scare none of you. To the police and Homeland Security elements that are here, I hope the recording is crystal clear. If not, I've helped you out, you know, because sometimes when you're hiding devices, it's hard to record them. But I love you, and hopefully Allah will bless all of us, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah, Sheikh Abdul Malik, for his beautiful lecture on a vast array of topics: social change, marriage, the family. Inshallah, he will be with us tomorrow night.